Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody on this fine Tuesday morning? First day back to trading after a long Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Took some time to relax and recharge those batteries to get ready for a short trading week. If you are here on the YouTube side of the house, please chime in, say hello, say what's up so I know you're here. Good to see everybody this morning. Let me also get our stream going over to the Discord just so we can be friendly and include our colleagues over here in the Xtrades community. Let's go over to morning live stream. There we go. That's connected. Share the screen. Let's go. We'll share that. All right. And for those of you who are maybe watching on the Discord side of the house, please make sure that you come over and join us on YouTube. That is really where we are focusing our attention and our efforts and all that sort of stuff. And that's where the chat is taking place, where I'm talking to folks and taking ticker requests. So, with that being said, what's up, Teo Cruz? What's up, Unknown Reviews? What's up, Sataro? Good to see you all here. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so let's start to dig in. For those who have arrived early, you guys get the advantage of not missing a single thing that I have to share with you all this morning. So, what are we looking at here from an S&P futures perspective? We talk about this every morning as we kind of get ready to prep our day. Did see a pretty decent drop, came down and tested this 4-hour demand zone, tapped right inside of it, and really bounced nicely out of that. Looking at some stuff this morning, I did also note that that put us right in the key buying pressure here on Neptune. So nice confluence down there with the demand zones and Neptune buying pressure all right there together, pushing the price back up. We've established another demand zone, and I think we've built up a bigger one that kind of overlaps with this existing one a little bit out of that move or off that move that pushed us out of that initial test of demand down below. So we've got another one now just underneath us that I believe we've established and put in place. We are testing the key selling pressure and resistance here on Neptune as we try to continue this bounce to the upside. We do have a supply zone overhead, so be careful going too aggressively long as we approach some of this turbulence overhead. Your aggressive long opportunities were really down here last Thursday, which I'm sure we covered during the pre-market session. So, anyway, that's what we're kind of looking at from an ES perspective. Today, I could definitely see things being a little bit choppy with, again, this demand zone just below, key selling pressure there on Neptune just overhead. Looks like if we get a break over 53.42, we probably go back to test all-time highs, would be my guess, up near this 53.67.75 fib extension. So keep an eye on that and to see if we can't, again, try to make a push and break out and see if the market can't print some significant new all-time highs off of a move like that. So let's, yeah, you're very welcome. Unknown Reviews. We're going to take a look at those trade plans that I did. I just posted these yesterday. So these are all kind of brand new. This is our first trading day, which is kind of nice and different now that we are on a short trading week this week. These trade plans were just posted yesterday. We haven't had a live trading day with them as of yet. So let's kind of talk about them as we get ready for the short week ahead. SMCI was the number one ticker from the votes that I got over the long weekend. As we can see here, pre-market, it is still testing. Let's go into a slightly smaller time frame here. Still testing and finding resistance at our call entry. I did note a couple of up descending and ascending trend lines here that it also seems to be struggling with a little bit. These are higher time frame trend lines though, so I know it looks like it's broken out above all that, but I think this was on maybe the 4-hour chart. Yeah, is where that trend line was really kind of showing and holding up. So anyway, looking at this at smaller time frames, we're buttoned up right against that trend line, also buttoned up against that resistance, that call entry resistance that we need to break to open up room to the upside and start the upside part of our trade plan here. So we are testing that here this morning at 899.16 and finding resistance as expected with that confluence. This is definitely kind of in a no trade zone, in my opinion, as long as it's above 881.25 or below 899.16. So in this range right here, I'd be very careful with SMCI until we get some kind of a break above or below that. Below that, I could potentially see an opportunity to get an earlier downside entry on a break below 881.25. That's our stop loss average down for both sides of this trade plan. And then just switch up your targets to the key levels from the trade plan. So again, if we're looking to take maybe a more aggressive entry on a break below 881.25, we'd be looking for a first price target at the put entry at 861.55. So what this trade plan is showing you, though, just to kind of recap this one, I know I put it in the options watch list in the Xtrades Discord yesterday. But what we're looking for here is a break over 899.16 to play for targets at 926.31, 940.13, second price target 953.91, third price target with a stop loss average down at 881.25. Again, potential aggressive earlier entry to the downside below 881.25. If you did take that, I would use this call entry here at 899.16 resistance as your stop loss average down. First price target 861.55. Key support for the put entry down there. If we are talking about the put side of the trade plan as prescribed, we're looking for a break below 861.55. That should give us targets at 834.08. 812.69 and 781.41. Again, sharing a stop loss average down there at 881.25, or using that as a potential earlier, more aggressive entry to catch downside here on SMCI. So again, this just posted yesterday. Keep it on watch, be ready to take action. All right, Dell, I was looking at this morning, kind of cool, right? That we've already seen a test and a pretty clean rejection off of our fib extensions here. So Dell was essentially gapped up into all-time highs, gapped up over our call entry. So this one's going to be a tough one to actually take action on just because of the move that it made between putting the plan together yesterday and what happened here pre-market. But this happens from time to time. That's why we have, generally more than one trade that we're watching, because again, you can't have the moves kind of happen without you as far as options go if they happen during the extended trading hour session. So let's just zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, I mean, gapped up right into our second price target, found resistance there again. This price target here, 169.17. Again, let's just quick pat on the back for fib extensions here. But yeah, definitely hitting these fib extensions here at 169.17, finding resistance right at it. Again, this level was untested. We posted this yesterday evening, so we essentially called an untested resistance, I'd say with a high degree of accuracy. What are these candles topping out at? 168.99. So, 20 cents off. It's a little bit loose, but I really kind of strive for as close to the penny accuracy as possible. But when we're talking about something like a fib extension, 20 cents, you got to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room. I think that's acceptable. So pushing up through all that, again, finding key resistance there. Could potentially look to play this as a breakout if it breaks over 169.17. You could use for this 166.78, this prior high rejection. This was, I think, the all-time high at that point as of Friday. Here we are tapping again, new all-time highs pre-market as resistance. So over 169.17, you could look to try to play the rest of these fib extensions to the upside. Which would take us up to 179.58 potentially. And I would use this level that we're waiting to break here, 169.17 as an entry, and 166.78 as a potential stop loss average down if you try to adjust this Dell trade plan. But this one kind of looks like it's made the move without us, which again, that can happen. Shop was also back on the list again, and coincidentally also right back in the exact same range that it was in when we did our last trade plan for it. So honestly, my trade plan didn't change much at all. I made a slight adjustment. I realized that my put entry support was a little less accurate than I like it. So I made a small adjustment to that. I think it was like a 6 cent adjustment. But we're still finding support there. That's really kind of been an interesting buy area for me as shop consolidates between the call entry up here at 59.72 and above the put entry support here at 56.93. So keep this one on watch. If it's holding that 56.93 support, I kind of like it for a dip buy. As soon as it loses that, I say get out. So very tight stop on this if you do decide to try to buy the dip off of 56.93. But the overall plan, just to kind of walk through those again real quick, we're looking for a break below 56.93 to play puts and continuation to the downside. That should bring targets at 55.59, 54.33, and 52.74 with a stop loss average down at 58.32. If we do push off of this support here, 56.93, and ultimately break above the call entry here at 59.72, well, then we're looking for targets at 61.65, 62.79, and 63.99 with a shared stop loss average down there at 58.32. So, again, I kind of like this as a dip buy down here off of 56.93 with a very tight stop loss. Could definitely see a breakout or a push higher and a potential earlier aggressive entry opportunity on shop for longs or calls over 58.32. Move your stop loss up to 56.93. Let me adjust that. I don't know how that got moved. 56.93, and then first target there at 59.72. So very similar to what we talked about kind of with the SMCI play. A couple ways to kind of adjust and reuse, re-engineer the key levels from these trade plans that I'm sharing with you guys. You get a little coffee action in my life there. All right. So Lulu, we did last Thursday on the live stream. Hourly chart looks interesting. Looks like it's gave us potentially a confirmed break and a little bit of a dip back below on Friday. Let's take a look at this on a smaller time frame here. Yeah, Lulu looks like it's trying to build a base and push out and break higher. So keep an eye on this. If you didn't already get in, the trade plan's right here for you, right? We're looking for a break over 304.32. It should give us targets at 313.21, 323.70, and 328.55. The stop loss average down at 297.44. If we break below that, well, then we're going to probably come and test this put entry support here at 289.46, and below that, we're looking for targets at 279.32, 271.27, and 259.55. Again, sharing a stop loss. Average down level there at 297.44 with the upside trade plan. So that's Lulu. Just a quick recap from last Thursday's live stream tickers that we did. Coin, let's take a look at this one. This looks a little wild. That's after hours. Let's drill in, dig into this one a little bit. So coin trade plan we did here Thursday pre-market. Yeah, this is actually great setup, great back test opportunity. So what are we seeing here on coin? Early into the day, we break below, move all the way down to PT1 and find support there early into the trading day on Thursday, right after we publish this trade plan during our live stream. But this is the sweetheart entry rate. You come back up, you find multiple tests of resistance up against our put entry levels. So that's your back test, break below, back test, rally base. So this is rally down, finds a base, rally, base, rally, down to the downside. Created a base of resistance here, or a ceiling of resistance right here. We came back and back tested that, and then that ultimately pushed us down very close to PT2, especially as we headed into the close, gave us PT2 plus, although that wick looks a little weird, a little scammy. That could have been some options being exercised or something. So anyway, coin trade plan played out very nicely, broke down below, back test of resistance, took us down close enough to PT2 to definitely be booking some profits there. Congrats if you followed the plan. Now it's right back within the range, so keep it on watch. We have not seen this try to break to the upside yet and test any of our upside targets. So we'll, again, kind of keep this one on watch. Still looking for a break over 239.55 with targets at 249.52, 253.86, and 261.02 with a stop loss average down here at 232.34. To the downside, we just talked about this a second ago, but break below 227.99, targets at 221.37, 217.29, and 210.76, also using that same stop loss average down there at 232.34. All right, into that unknown reviews just said thanks for into. So what are we looking at here on Intuit? Let's take a look. Let's drill in on this one a little bit. So opened right above our call entry, but again, first 15, 30 minutes, be very careful, right? We're not jumping in or chasing trades, especially if we open above. We at least want to see that candle close above our entry level, and that didn't even happen. Close back below. Clean resistance rejection right there here on the 15-minute chart off 673.99. High of that candle was 673.97, so 2 cents off on that rejection. That led into their earnings report. So again, finding resistance, not able to break out and break higher could have been a sign of things to come for that earnings report, especially when you see it break below and start to consolidate below the 200 SMA, 200 SMA here on the 15-minute, adding some confluence there to 662.76. Stop loss average down, key level from the plan. So that was finding resistance. Neptune was fully bearish going into that earnings report, and obviously PT's 1, 2, 3, and then some, and continues to push down and make new lows post earnings report. Again, TradingView doesn't always have the most accurate numbers on these earnings reports, but not terrible. They must have had some pretty dismal guidance, would be my bet. So those are our trade plan recaps. Hopefully you guys have been cleaning up and banking on those so far, with the exception of the ones that we just did yesterday. Obviously haven't had a chance to do anything with those. So let's get to some new ticker requests. Those of you who are here on the YouTube side of the house, feel free to start chiming in. Just like you saw my friend Unknown Reviews with ANF. We're going to take a look at that one here in just a moment. Let me go check on our friends in Discord. For those of you following, watching along, or following along and watching on the Discord side of the house, just a reminder that we are really focusing our efforts and our attention on the YouTube channel. So if you have ticker requests, you want to join the conversation, chime in, make sure that you are coming over to the Xtrades YouTube channel. And joining us there so you can chime in and let me know what you want me to take a look at. So far, just the one request from Unknown Reviews for ANF. We'll definitely have time for at least a couple of trade plans here this morning. So please, folks, go ahead and chime in and let me know what you want me to take a look at. All right, so let's go to ANF. Let's start digging in for my homie Unknown Reviews. Probably Abercrombie and Fitch. Probably an earnings report coming up, I'm guessing. Yep, tomorrow or to yeah, tomorrow. Sorry. Long weekend's got my days of the week screwed up in my brain. All right, so let's take a look at Abercrombie and Fitch. Clearly not one that I've personally traded much because there's zero support or resistance on this chart. And oh my gosh, what a run off that 333 SMA support test there on the weekly and just launched. I didn't even know Abercrombie and Fitch still existed. It was big back when I was in high school. So, not going to give away my age, but I am 20 years ago. All right, let's take a look at Abercrombie and Fitch. Things I thought I would never say in a trading group. Put that on the list. Just trying to catch some quick little support and resistance levels that we might be able to kind of have to read the tea leaves on a little bit here on the weekly chart, but that's why I practice this on a pretty regular basis, is so I can kind of spot these using minimal data. Takes time, takes practice. For those of you who I've done mentoring with, stick to the rules I've given you for finding and nailing down these levels. Do as I say, not as I do when you watch these live streams, because sometimes I have to, like I said, sort of thread the needle a little bit. But that's because I'm forced to do it. Okay. I like those levels. It's very structured too, interestingly enough. Not seeing much else. The other interesting thing that we're going to take a look at, but not quite yet, is some fib extension levels. We'll check those out here in a minute, though. All right, let's see what this guy looks like here on the extended hours chart. Uh, Nothing too crazy. I'm going to stick with using extended hours for this exercise. All right, so let's start nailing down where some of these other levels are. That's definitely a level of interest. Um, hmm, kind of iffy, but I think we do have one here. Interesting rejection off this previous all-time high, but I haven't really seen much in the way of follow-up reaction response to that level. This is definitely an interesting one, though. Again, minimal price action, minimal price data down here. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. Thanks for chiming in. If you have a ticker request, go ahead and hit me with it. We're working on Abercrombie and Fitch, which, like I said, I didn't even know still existed, let alone has just been on a moon mission after, at least on the weekly chart, testing the 333 SMA. Also wound up being this 200 SMA. So kind of a little bit of a confluence down there back in May of last year. It's just been skyrockets from that point forward. Um, all right, so I think we're probably pretty good on the weekly and daily charts as far as levels we're going to need for this trade plan this morning. A lot of resistance around this level, but not quite enough to call anything off of that yet. Uh, hmm, I think there could be something here, actually. It probably sits right about there. Not the prettiest daily level, but it's there. All right. So here's where we get into the weeds of things a little bit. Let's see if we can't figure out what has been happening near this previous all-time high. Check, check. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell was going on. No, I wasn't muted. It was, I don't know if I had to totally switch my uh, microphone. I don't know why my AirPods stopped taking, and I'm also using like this like shitty webcam mic, so sorry if the audio sucks now. But at least it's better than no audio. I don't know what the hell just happened, but thank you for letting me know. Yeah, as soon as anything goes sideways, say something, because I may not realize I'm not sitting here staring at OBS the whole time. All right, so we're doing our fib extensions here on Abercrombie and Fitch. We've got some existing support and resistance levels in the mix here. So I think really the only thing we can do, and this is kind of an aggressive plan, but you know, we just kind of have to work with what we got. I'd be looking for a break over this 236 extension. Take a first shot at 382 there at 157.12. We can use this existing 4-hour here at 146.52 as a stop loss average down. Let's see, and then over that, I think we just, you know, fib extensions 1, 2, 3, pretty much. Yeah, I didn't know anybody, you know, I thought when I no longer saw people wearing clothes that looked really old, but they clearly just bought, I kind of figured Abercrombie and Fitch was a thing of the past. Let's sell some pre-deteriorated clothes. It's the style. But yeah, it's, you talk about a squeeze. Absolutely, Chris. Just crazy squeeze. All right, so downside, we're looking for a break below this 140.15 level. Definitely first target down here at 134.30. I think we can share a stop loss average down with that upside trade plan. I haven't even heard the name mentioned in like forever, Chris, as far as Abercrombie goes. So, you know, I'm maybe not the most in touch person in the world, so which I'm fine with. There are certain things culturally I'm okay with not being in tune with. Just live in my happy little world. Ignorance is bliss. All right, to some extent. Clearly, we don't want to be totally ignorant. All right. it was the wrong mall clothing store to start with. Chris said, for those who are seeing the YouTube side of things, it's actually American Eagle, not Abercrombie and Fitch, that she loves, his girlfriend. Yeah, I'm far from a fashionista as well. All right, so let's get our long and short positions here set up. Let's talk about these trade plans. Again, fib extensions, but that's how we nailed, where's Dell? That's how we nailed this top on Dell here this morning. The fib extensions I drew yesterday already being tested here as resistance pre-market. So same scenario here, fib extensions going up to 157. Also interesting psychological level there. It's really 157.12 on the extension, but what's a few cents between friends, right? All right, so let's talk about this trade plan for Abercrombie and Fitch. Again, reminder, earnings after hours. No, I'm sorry, pre-market tomorrow. My apologies. Pre-market tomorrow, earnings. Take a quick look at this on the hourly. Yeah, I mean, bullish across the board. Not surprised based on this move that it's kind of has had underway for a while. All right, so what are we looking at here for Abercrombie and Fitch? We're looking for a break over 151.39. That should bring targets at 157.08, 161.75, and 166.34, with the stop loss average down at 146.52. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 134.30. I'm sorry, below 140.15. I'm reading price targets already. Looking for a break below 140.15. That should give us price targets at 134.30. 128.66 and 123.64. Those are your downside targets, with a shared stop loss average down there at 146.52. With the upside trade plan, that is Abercrombie and Fitch for you from top to bottom. Again, sorry for the weird little dropout from the mic issues. Again, technology. I mean, even being in IT, sometimes when it does things at random like that, you just scratch your head and say, WTF, bro. All right, so we did Abercrombie and Fitch. I thought I saw GME. Have we done the memes lately? So GME or DJT could be interesting. Let's see. Let's take a look at either of those. GameStop's up like 20 something percent this morning, isn't it? From yesterday. Yeah, it's had this like massive after hours run. Excuse me. Run right back up against this put entry, what was support, now resistance at 24 from the last trade plan we did on it. I don't know how long ago this was, but we clearly had some key levels called out here that it does seem to be struggling with pre-market. Let's take a look at DJT. This is one that I like to buy just leap puts on anytime it has a good pump, and that strategy has worked out well so far. All right, let's see. Old trend lines here too. All right, so let's see. GameStop or Trump Media. I have a feeling GameStop's going to be the better mover of these two, to be perfectly honest with you. And I already have levels on it, so that's also helpful. All right, let's go with GameStop for my homie Chris. Always has the good ticker requests. And then we can try to take a quick look at LabU for Deepak. I didn't not see that, buddy. Chris came in first. All right, let's see. How do we want to handle GameStop? Clearly ran its head up against this weekly resistance. Rejected it pretty cleanly. Still struggling to close candles above that. Interesting little support, but I'm trying to kind of gauge how aggressive an entry we want to take without getting caught in some kind of a trap, and also being mindful of the massive move GameStop has made since close of trading on Friday. All right, let's be aggressive. I think we could take a shot at an entry for longs over this 2483, sorry, weekly resistance. I'd be looking for, at the very least, a test of this 2624 if that happens. Level over 2624 could potentially bring a bigger move. There's a little bit of a fair value gap still to fill there. 2877 if it gets a little squeezy. And then over that, I could look at 3122. All three targets. The big question I have for myself is, where is this prudent stop loss average down without being overly restrictive, especially on something as volatile as GameStop? It's going to be forever and a day in the past before we find more support resistance tests. Let me just take a quick look at this on the smaller time frames. Not something I would generally recommend doing, but just kind of want to, again, read these tea leaves a little bit. I think this level might also have this level a little plays somewhere in this little range here. All right, this is not ideal, so I'm going to go ahead and say that now. Sorry, I'm just seeing one other thing. Could it be? Could it take a shot at that daily level? Ugh. Okay. We're gonna switch something up here. I think this daily level is just a little bit high. I think it's sitting a little bit more like right there. This trade plan looks a little bit more, looks more better, for lack of another way of saying it. All right. So that's the upside plan. Downside plan. 22, 13, 24 flat. I think we want to take an entry to the downside below 22.13. I think that gives us a shot. Interesting little consolidation there. That's a little bit higher, but I think, well, sorry, really debating this here. I think it's going to be a tight stop, tight first price target on the downside of this, just to make sure that we're getting profits out at an opportune time. But I think that gives us right about a 1-to-1 risk reward anyway. So not ideal, but not the worst thing in the world either. Second price target down to 20.04. Third price target down here to 19.05. And we'll keep it tight-ish. Stop loss average down on it. So that is the long side of the plan. Short side of the plan, again, kind of aggressive, but also aggressive on the stops and aggressive on the profit taking, aggressive on the entry, just aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. All right, so what are we looking for here on GameStop? We are looking for a break over 24.83 to play for upside targets. That should, and again, probably stretching a little bit here on this first target, but is what it is, should give us targets at 27.57, 28.77, and then on up to 31.22 with a stop loss average down at 23.13. Downside, again, kind of a tight little window of opportunity here, but we're looking for a break below 22.13. That should give us targets at 21.12, 20.04, and 19.05 with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 23.13. Those are your GameStop upside and downside trade plans. All right, so let's see if we can't take a quick look at Lab U for our homie Deepak. This is like the leveraged healthcare ETF or biotech. Yeah, 3x leverage biotech. This must have done a reverse split at some point because I think it was trading down in like the tens of dollars last time I took a good look at it. But let's see what we can find for our homie Deepak. Deepak or Deepak? This is probably Deepak. All right. Yeah, there's old LabVIEW levels from at some point when I looked at it ages ago. All right, let's focus here on this. Excuse me, range. Yeah. Excuse me. This range, get rid of those old drawings because they're kind of meaningless now that things have done this reverse split. Something I really wish TradingView would improve upon. If there's a reverse split or something like that, just math my levels for me, please, and move them without having to totally reinvent the wheel. TradingView, if you're listening, I'm talking to you. Big fan, but that is something that could be improved for sure. All right.
Dude, I'm a relic. I think Abercrombie's a relic. It's right there with me. Gosh, dude, I hope I don't say homie that much. I feel like homie is a very old. It's like it's like when Joe Biden says folks, homie. All right, Lab U, definitely a hot mess right now. That's what I would say about Lab U. Said it twice in 5 minutes. Damn it. All right. No more homies, homies. I want to give away my age. I feel younger than I look. Also, I think look younger than I am, but that's for another day. My younger sister hates it though, I can tell you that much. Because everybody thinks she's my older sister. And it drives her crazy. Got that got that Paul Rudd. That ageless face. All right. What are we doing here with LabVIEW? I'm still trying to figure that out without getting too into the weeds on my age or my skincare routines or anything like that. Just trying to keep you guys engaged while I sit here and try to make us all some money. All right. Yeah, got something there. Mm, yeah, definitely something there. This is probably sitting a little bit lower. All right. I think we probably have enough higher time frame levels in our range here to let's go ahead and fill in the blanks as needed. Let's get our indicators in the mix here. What are we looking at for LabVIEW? Again, be very careful with this. The tricky part about these leveraged ETFs or leveraged tickers is they're generally getting that leverage from options contracts. So there's also naturally theta decay that plays into the actual price of the underlying asset. So just keep that in mind. But how do we want to play LabVIEW? I mean, I've already kind of drawn to this 121.66 level. There could be a potentially earlier entry though. It really does add confluence, really nice confluence with Neptune actually. I think there's an hourly level sitting right in here that could be a good entry level. Puts us over the bear flag, puts us over the 200 SMA, so clears out a couple of kind of key factors, key indicator resistances as far as the ones that I like to watch. Interesting rejections up in this range. Again, just for a little bit more confirmation. Yeah, I think we've got it. So I think that's going to be our first price target. I don't think that is going to be our first price target. Next target. And definitely this weekly level is going to be a factor, so don't totally disregard it. But I mean, as far as price targets go, I think we need to look a little for, I don't know, it's a $3 move actually still on something that's trading under 150 bucks. That's more significant than it looked like zoomed out. So let's go ahead and set that second price target. I was already sitting there worried about it, but now that I look at it and realize that's gives us a little bit more room than I originally thought it did. I think it makes sense to set a price target there. Then I say we kind of, I mean, I'm looking at two really potential targets, third price target. One's sitting right here. And the other sitting just overhead. You know what? I just was talking about the theta decay factor. I think taking profits early and having all your targets hit relatively quickly in short order on this one is actually going to make a lot of sense. Could also have a slightly more aggressive, but I think appropriately aggressive stop based on what I'm seeing here. So interesting setup. Definitely a little bit of a fair value gap play to the upside. Downside, again, gonna have to fill in some blanks here, but this local bottom, yeah, probably sits right about there. Whoops. I think that'll make for a good first price target, or sorry, good put entry. This daily level, I may have a little off. I think it sits more like right there. Let's just see if I can get a quick additional confirmation. No, nothing in there. Of course, that split's going to be in the way. Yeah, I say we take a shot at that. First price target, second target, fill in the blanks here. Definitely going to be sitting right about here, though. 93.90. Third price target. Just hide this indicators real quick. Probably sitting. Yeah, I think there is a level here, and it could have to come back and revisit that. So big stretch down there to PT3 to the downside. All right. So these are our LabVIEW trade plans. Kind of appropriate, even though it looks like there's bigger downside moves. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to take this back. I'm going to adjust this. Let's make this weekly our stop loss. That looks a little better. Yep. All right, so what we're looking for here on LabVIEW is a break over 111.08. That should give us targets at 118.75, 121.66, and 125.55 with a stop loss average down at 107.86. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 101.85. That should bring targets at 97.01. 93.90 and 87.32. Big stretch down there for that third price target with a stop loss average down at 106.49. All right, with that, we are about 10 minutes out, and I've spent enough time showing and giving away my age this morning. So hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me. As we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans. Go out there and get some green, and make sure that you come back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Xtrades YouTube channel. Join us for Thursday morning's live stream session. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. See you in the Discord for those of you who are already there with us at Xtrades. Take care. Have a great day, folks.